Hello, doctor.
مرحبا. Hello everyone.
Hello. Doctor, I want to ask you, do you have any idea if I can do something if I have 3 exams in the same day?
Sorry, about?
I have 3 exams in the same day. Can I do
Oh,
something
you're not
for it?
supposed to have 3 exams.
How?
Maximum you should have is only 2 exams.
I have phonetics, theories, and Arabic syntax.
And Arabic syntax?
Yes.
Just contact the chairman of the department. I mean, one of them should be either postponed or I mean they should do something about it.
Okay.
Because according to the rules and regulations, maximum a student should have is 2 exams.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. So just have a word with the secretary of the department or the chairman.
Okay,
Yeah.
I will.
Send him an email or give him a buzz, a ring.
Yes. I
Yeah.
will.
I mean, this is in line with the rules and regulations of the university.
Okay, sounds good.
Yeah. Right.
دكتور يعطيك العافية.
أهلين مرحبا.
أنا عندي امتحانين بنفس الساعة، يعني من 11 اللي هو صوتيات وفن كتابة وتعبير بنفس الساعة، فمش عارف.
لما يكون في if you have conflict, a clash, لما يكون في تعارض, you report it to the department. أنت أرسلتي لي مسج على المجموعة؟
Yes. على الواتساب.
أنا حولتها على رئاسة القسم. حولتها على رئاسة القسم. أي طالب عنده مشكلة تعارض أو 3 امتحانات أو غيره يكتب لي، يرسل على المجموعة وأنا برسلها على
دكتور. وأنا
أرسلها على الخاص إذا كان في تعارض.
طب بس دكتور، مش بتاعتك أنت صباحا، ممكن تكون المادة الثانية يعني مساء؟
هذه أمور خاصة بالإدارة، يعني أمور إدارية، ف يعني يفضل إنه تكتبوا لرئيس القسم مباشرة. يفضل يعني إنه just report it. إنه هذه rules and regulations، ما بصير يكون في تعارض. ممكن يصير في تعديل على الجدول لو it could be a tentative timetable. Tentative يعني مبدئي. Right. For anybody who has clash or 3 exams a day, go and report this to the department. وحتى ارسلوا لي على الخاص وأنا بحولها عنه. Right. Okay. Yeah. Today we carry on with strong and weak forms. We said that in connected speech, not all words have the same importance. I mean, some words are important, others are less important. I mean, we have, with the speech mechanism, which is superior, of course. I mean, language talent is superior in the sense that now, if you want to type something, we have a keyboard. How many letters does it have? How many digits? How many approximately? A keyboard of any computer. I mean, how many digits or how many letters does it have?
1 letter.
No less than, say, 30. More than 30, yeah?
33.
Yeah, just imagine writing a word like phonetics, yeah, phonetics. So you have Phonetics. How long does it take you to, and how many movements are involved in the production of such a word?
Yes.
Let alone words like anti-disestablishmentarianism, for instance, or honorificability dignitatis. I mean, longer words, yeah. So you need to use a lot of knobs, you know, to be able to write it. Even if you want to write something, again, it takes time and effort. Now, with the vocal organs, you only have one vocal organ, which is the tongue, which can produce any sound, any word, in any language of the world. I mean, as human beings, I mean, we already have 7,000 languages, yes? There is the IPA. IPA is the International Phonetic Alphabet. Now, this International Phonetic Alphabet has the sounds used in all human languages, not just Arabic or English. Now, using just the tongue and another place of articulation, we can produce an infinite number of sounds, an infinite number of words, an infinite number of sentences. Yeah. Now, in connected speech, some sounds, some words, some sounds undergo certain changes. Even at the level of a sentence, yeah. Sometimes we may have a sentence. In order to make it interrogative, we have to invert. We have to rearrange the words to make it interrogative. To have exclamation mark, again, we need to use punctuation marks and things of the sort. We need to use a full stop, a question mark, a colon, a semicolon, a comma, etc. Now, in speech, there is what we call intonation. We can convey different messages using the same sentence without any syntactic changes, without any grammatical changes. This is done by raising your voice, highlighting a certain word to give different meanings. So, for instance, in a sentence like did, write it down if you like. Did his sister make him a cake? I mean, this could be said in 5 different ways, and in each time, the intended meaning of the speaker is different. Yeah. How? Simply by using stress. Stress in English is phonemic. It can change meaning. It can change meaning of words at the level of individual words, and it can also change the meaning of a sentence. Now, let me just say it in a number of ways. Did his sister make him a cake? Of course, as we speak, we don't pause after each and every word. Yeah? We should have connected. Like we have connected writing, cursive writing, same applies to speech. As we speak, we have connected speech, not isolated words. Stress stress refers to the degree of prominence, loudness a syllable has. It refers to the degree of prominence, prominence, prominence or loudness a syllable has. Now, we can have subject has two syllables, subject. Now we can have stress on the first syllable by saying subject. We can shift stress to the second syllable by saying subject. Now what happens if, as we speak, we shift stress from one syllable to another without realizing that stress in English can change meaning? Now, semantically, when we say subject, you know what that means. Linguistics or phonetics is an interesting subject. That's a noun. But if we say subject, that becomes a verb. So we can say he was subjected to interrogation, for instance. Subjected. Now, subject is a noun, which means موضوع. Subject is a verb. The only difference, both words have the same number of consonants and vowels in the same order. There is no difference whatsoever except for stress. Simply by shifting stress from one syllable to another, we get a totally different meaning. So subject means موضوع, subject means يخضع.
ايش معناها دكتور؟
A big difference, yeah? A big difference. Conflict and conflict. Conflict is a noun, conflict is a verb. Process and process. This process, that's a noun. Your application is being processed, or the film is being processed. Here it has a totally different meaning. This occurs even at the level of some grammatical structures. Like a compound and a verb, an adjective plus a noun. So when we say blue book is different from blue book. Now, blue book with stress on book means a book whose color is blue. But if we stress blue, then we get a different structure, which is a compound, blue book. Now, blue book has nothing to do with the color of the book. It means an examination booklet. Okay? So, in a sentence like, this is why, in dealing with strong and weak forms, some words undergo certain changes. Some sounds undergo certain changes. In a sentence like, did his sister make him a cake? Now, this is normal. You are asking whether his sister made him a cake. Yeah? We can say it in the following ways. Did his sister make him a cake? Did his sister make him a cake? Did his sister make him a cake? Now, in each case, the intended meaning of the speaker differs. So first we have, did his sister make him a cake? That's normal, a question. Second, did his sister make him a cake? What does that mean? What do I mean to say when I say this? I mean, as listeners, what do you expect me to mean? What is my intended meaning? Did his sister make him a cake? Sorry?
May I say, Doctor?
Did his sister make him a cake? Pardon?
No, I think his sister made him a cake, and the utterance know that they made the cake, but he's like, it just like, doesn't she know, as we learned in pragmatics, like, doesn't you know it's same. يعني أنا بعرف إنه في الكيك انعملت، بس استغربت إنها انعملت، فبحكي
Did his sister make him a cake? In other words, did she make it or did she buy it?
Did she make it?
Yeah, did she make it or did she buy it? Okay. Did his sister make him a cake? What does that mean? Did his
يعني
sister
أختك اللي
make
عملت
him a
الكيك
cake?
ولا شخص آخر؟
Yeah, is it his sister or somebody
You
else
ask
who
about
made
the maker.
the cake?
okay.
Okay, right. Did his sister make him a cake?
He's asking if the sister did the cake for him, not for someone else.
Yeah, that's very good, Usama. Yeah, that's very good. It means, did she make it specially for him?
Yes.
Did his sister make him a cake?
If his sister, the one who made the cake, not someone else, friend or something.
Okay, yeah, that's it. That's it. So in all cases, I mean, this is, I mean, language talent is unmatched. It's wonderful. It's wonderful. This is why, I mean, when we think of languages, it's one of the signs, one of the divine signs. Nobody can ever match a human language. I mean, true, we can have what they call token machines, but that's I mean, what they call a token machine is simply a dictionary. It's a monolingual or a bilingual dictionary. Yet they call it a talking machine. It isn't a token machine. It's simply a dictionary, a bilingual, a trilingual dictionary. Now, in translation, no matter how hard human beings try to develop equipment, semantically, I mean, they fail. Most of the time, they fail to catch the exact meaning, especially when it comes to figurative usage. When we have idioms, proverbs, etc. I mean, machine translation doesn't help much because they tend to render the meaning literally. So they don't have the ability to distinguish between literal meaning and scientific and figurative meaning. Literal and figurative meaning. That's why most translations are nonsensical sometimes. So he took the law into his hands, for instance. He took the law into his hands. All machine translations read like this. أخذ القانون بيديه. Professional translators sometimes, Even human beings can't sometimes recognize a figurative usage. They treat it as literal. And this is why communication fails. Now, this applies to children, by the way. Till a certain age, children can't tell the difference between real meaning and figurative meaning. They can't tell the difference between real meaning and figurative meaning. Prominent scholars have failed in this area, and they caused, distortion of the semantics of some texts. Right. So let's just examine strong and weak forms. We said that words, auxiliaries, modals, some modals, auxiliaries, and certain lexical items, words like man, land, etc., undergo certain changes. Either they lose some sounds. So in a sentence like, where have you been? Have is realized as where have you been? Where have you been? Then I've. So the auxiliary have loses in the first, it loses the ha sound. In the second, it loses both. I've. That's why this is reflected in writing by writing I, the subject pronoun, I, apostrophe VE. So don't, whenever you have a short form in spelling, it means that you need to make it weak in pronunciation. Weak in that it loses some sounds, or some strong sounds change to weak. Like the a sound is stronger than a schwa. So the a sound may go to a schwa. Whereof you have schwa, in addition to losing the ha sound, the initial sound. As I said, in words like say business plus man. Now man alone is pronounced man, but when it combines with business, we don't get businessman. There's a common mispronunciation. It becomes businessman with a schwa. Policeman, milkman, postman, land, for instance. We say land with an a sound, but when it's added to words like England, we don't say England, or Scotland, we say Scotland, Ireland, England. So we have to be, if we want to sound natural, if we want to communicate well, in listening comprehension, you have to be aware of such changes, because sometimes you may make a mess of the meaning. And this is why in the TOEFL test, it covers listening comprehension. So you are exposed to native data. So you need to be aware of such changes, pronunciation changes, because sometimes they affect meaning. So when somebody says I'll give you some examples next time. We'll have a practice for oral practice for about 10 minutes. He's, for instance, we don't know whether he's stands for he is or he has. It all depends on the context. Some words, for instance, half penny. Half penny. Penny is Penny. Half penny. I mean, this is the spelling. We have half and penny. In English, they simply say halfpenny.
half penny.
halfpenny.
penny
halfpenny.
دكتور penny اللي قصدك العملة
Sorry,
فيها؟
I didn't catch
العملة
that.
قصدك؟
Can you speak up, please?
penny العملة؟
Yeah, they have penny, yeah. Penny, Penny. Penny. In British.
Yes.
The coin, it's a coin.
Yeah, I'm asking you, it's the coin, but what does it mean by half penny? It's
halfpenny.
half.
They say halfpenny. So they pronounce half penny as penny. You know, it's like al-qirsh in Jordan. We used to have qirsh.
Yeah, I know.
And halfpenny would be half of a penny. So they pronounced as halfpenny. We have to be careful of any changes that take place in connected speech. Now, all in all, every word has a strong form. This form is listed in a dictionary. The strong form is listed in a dictionary. But in connected speech, most of these strong forms become weak, and they lose some sounds or they undergo certain changes. I mean, some of the sounds change, say, from a to a schwa, or they lose vowels altogether. So in fish, and just imagine the word and, A and D. Now can I have some fish and chips, please? Fish and chips. Now, and is reduced to one sound, which is n sound. It loses the a sound and it loses the d sound. Same applies to examples like Tom and Mary. Tom and Mary. Tom. The D is not there. Nice shoes. Goes to nice shoes. Nice sound, shoes. It goes to nice shoes. We have to be aware of such differences. Right. Let's have page 70. Let's have 74. Page 74, that's lesson 18. This is the beginning of strong and weak forms. Okay. Mention has already been made in lesson 15 of stressed and unstressed syllables. It was explained that a stressed syllable is one which is said more strongly. Underline this if you like. A stressed syllable is one which is said more strongly with greater effort of the chest and mouth muscles than an unstressed syllable. So we exert more energy as we produce a stressed syllable. We exert more energy. The result is that the receiver, the listener, conceive it as louder than other syllables. This is why sometimes if we want to emphasize something, a certain word, a certain phrase, we raise our voice to highlight it. All English words, when they are said in isolation, that's to say by themselves, yeah, isolation means by themselves, contain a stressed syllable. The word carpet has its first syllable stressed. Carpet. So it's not carpet. Didn't. It's never didn't. I mean, some students I've noticed say, I didn't do something. She doesn't like. Stress should fall on the first syllable. I didn't. She doesn't. Yeah? So it's not didn't or doesn't. Didn't, doesn't. The word today has its second syllable stressed. And so we say today, today. It's not today, today. Second syllable is stressed. And the word now has its only syllable stressed. Of course, if the word has a monosyllabic word, only one sound, then that word is stressed. But when words are put together into sentences, not every word is stressed. There are quite a number of words of one syllable which aren't stressed. For instance, in the sentence, take an apple, the first word, take, is stressed, and so is the word apple. But the little word in the middle, the word an, is not stressed. The reason why it's not stressed is that it's of less importance in this sentence than the other two words are. There are a considerable number of such short words, short forms, contracted forms, yeah, abbreviated forms in English, which are usually of minor, the opposite of major, importance in the sentence, and are therefore not stressed. This usual lack of stress has had an effect on the pronunciation of some of them. Very often, the schwa vowel is used in them instead of some other clearer vowel. For example, in the sentence just quoted, take an apple, we don't say an apple. The unstressed word is pronounced with a schwa instead of an a sound, as in cat. Yet, when it's stressed, when it's said alone, the vowel a is used. Same applies to and. When and is said alone, or we mean to make it important, we should use an a sound, and, full word. But if it's less important, then we change either we change the a to a schwa, or we drop the schwa altogether, and the d, and the da sound. There are thus a good many short English words which have two different pronunciations. One when they are stressed, which is not very often, and one when they are unstressed, which is usual. It's very important to learn to use these words correctly when they are unstressed, to give them the weak form as it is called. Now, these weak forms differ from the strong forms, that is the stressed forms, in two main ways. Either there is a difference of vowel sound, the vowel schwa, for instance, in the weak form, and some other vowel in the strong form, like and, like an, like above. Now, the above. So it's not, it's a schwa. Above has an a, but it's realized as a schwa. Or some sound, either a vowel or a consonant, is left out, is dropped in the weak form. For example, in the sentence, I am going. I am going. We don't say I am. Say I'm going. The strong form am with the vowel a loses this vowel in the weak form, and only the m sound remains. I'm. There's no vowel. On the other hand, in the phrase so am I. How do you pronounce this, by the way? So am I.
So,
How do you say it in connected speech?
so am I.
So am I. That's it. So am I.
Yes.
So am I. So it's a schwa. It's not an a sound. So am I.
Yeah.
So you have schwa, not am. The word am has a different weak form with the vowel schwa. So remember that some of these vowels have more than one weak form, but only one strong form. So all such words do have a strong form, but they may have one or two weak forms. Here are some examples for practice. Let's have section 1, page 75. Now first you have the weak forms. Do, for instance. The last form is strong. Do. Da sound and U with two dots. Do. That's the strong form. In connected speech, where do you live? Where do you live? Where do you? Geo. That's a schwa, not an U sound. So we don't say, where do you live? Where do you live? Do you live in London? So it's simply a da, without a ya, without a ya. Yeah? No, just a minute. Now do has just one sound, which is da. Then it's followed by ya. Do you live in London? It's not do you live in London. Most foreign language learners tend to speak sometimes like machine guns, you know. They stress each and every word. Yes, I do. So the first two, where do you live, has a da schwa instead of u. The second has no schwa, has no vowel at all. Do you live in London? Yes, I do. I do here is important. Where does John live? Does he live in London? Yes, he does. I'm going home. So am I. Am I very late? See, so between brackets you have 2 or 3 forms. The last form is strong. The first 1 or 2 are weak. Okay. The sun's very hot. It's hotter than yesterday. It is, isn't it? The boys are at school. The boys are schwa, so it's not are. Now are, as a strong form, has the last